Liam Rosenior is now the new head coach of Chelsea, and this is a very interesting decision because the question now becomes how good is this guy, and is this guy good enough to coach Chelsea? He's had only two proper jobs before this, and that was Hull City and Strasbourg. And let's be real, Hull City and Strasbourg are not Chelsea in terms of the gravity of the job, in terms of what they need them to do, in terms of what the expectations are for this team. So the question now is, how good has he been at these clubs to make you think, okay, this guy is good enough to be the Chelsea manager? Now let's not even go too far into it. The reason he's the new Chelsea coach right now is because Strasbourg and Chelsea are owned by the same group, Blueco. So it was quite easy for them to make this decision because ultimately I think there are better managers in the world. Are there better managers available? Probably not, and that's exactly why they have this guy now. So the first question is, how well did he do while he was at Hull City? Because that was his first real job. At Hull City, his first season, he didn't start the season, but he did take major parts of the season. And they finished 15th, which is not necessarily a good record if you're a Chelsea fan. Because I know I've spoken to a number of Chelsea fans who are saying, why are we getting the Strasbourg coach? What about him is good enough? But to be fair to them, the next season when he was the Hull City coach, they finished 7th, and they were just a couple of points off the playoff spots. So there's a world in which if they had a few more points, they would be competing for the playoffs to get into the Premier League. So you have to say that that was a big improvement. But then he moved to Strasbourg, and Strasbourg at the time, we look at Strasbourg and you're like, they're not one of the European giants. They're not one of the French giants in terms of the size and the stature of the club. You look at a PSG, you look at a Monaco, you look at a Lille, you look at a Lyon. These are the teams that you recognize in France. But then he moved to Strasbourg, and Strasbourg were not necessarily doing fantastic at the time. But he was able to take them to 7th place. And the interesting thing about taking them to 7th place this time was that they were only 3 points off 3rd position. And 3rd position in France takes you to the Champions League. So you could say that, once again, maybe if he had a few more points, which nobody's going to give to you or gift to you, they could have been in the Champions League. And that's a big thing for a club like Strasbourg. That's not what you expect from Strasbourg. So ultimately, he's actually not doing too badly as a coach. And then this season, they are currently 7th. And they were 7th before he left them to join Chelsea now. Were they in the same position? Yes. Were they at the same rate of success? Probably not. But it was just half the season. They're just 6 points. They're currently 6 points off 6th position, which is a bigger gap than what they had last season to 3rd. So you could say that maybe they haven't done as well as last season, but still, for a club like Strasbourg, being 7th right now is not too bad. They're also in the Conference League as well. So ultimately, you look at it and your question is, has this guy shown enough to be the coach of Chelsea? Now let's remind ourselves, Chelsea literally just won the Conference League. That was not a competition they even expected to be in or they should be in based on the standards. This is a team that a couple of years ago won the Champions League. So being in the Conference League and winning it is expected. But they won it under Enzo Maresca, who they just let go of. But apart from that, they also won the Club World Cup. Now, nobody takes this thing the same way as they take some other competitions like the Champions League because it came out of nowhere. And I don't think people hold it to the same regard as the Champions League or other competitions. So it's like, okay, glorified friendly tournament, but it's still a trophy. And you still play against the best teams in the world because they played against PSG in the final and beat them 3-0. So this is a team that you can see that can hang with the big boys. With a coach who has just managed Hull City and Strasbourg, this is new. This is very, very new to him. This is a new terrain completely to him. Does that mean he will not succeed? No, I think he can. Because we've seen examples of managers who didn't necessarily have big jobs before they got a big role, and they did well. Now, this is a big stretch in terms of a comparison. But you look at a coach like Zinedine Zidane. Zidane came in and won 3 Champions Leagues. That's not easy to do. Like, he was never a coach of any other team before, and he won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. So that's, like I said, that's a stretch. But then you also look at a coach like Xabi Alonso. His first real proper big job before going to Madrid was Bayer Leverkusen, and this guy ended up going through the whole Bundesliga season unbeaten and coming out of nowhere to win the Bundesliga. Yes, it was not the best season by Bayern, but you already know that every season is Bayern or Dortmund. In fact, it's Bayern. but Dortmund will compete. Then you have maybe the Leipzig who would give a bit of a challenge, but he came and he completely destroyed the league and won it without losing a single game. He also won the DFB Pokal before ultimately failing at the final hurdle in the Europa League final, thanks to Ademola Lookman, my guy, and Atalanta. So that's still impressive. That's still somebody that you say, okay, if Chelsea wants to sign this guy, you can understand why. Another manager, Vincent Kompany. Now, Vincent Kompany, to be fair, you look at his record in Burnley and you say, wow, he did fantastic for them in the Championship. But when they came to the Premier League, they did not do very well. So there were questions about him going over to Bayern. And he has gone to Bayern and he has completely knocked it out of the park. So you can see that this is a manager that clearly knows his things. He knows that he's good at what he does. Liam Rosenior has not managed a proper team that, no disrespect to Hull City or Strasbourg here, but he has not managed a very big team. And Chelsea will not be that patient with you. Chelsea is a club that if you do not do well, they will let you go. It's just how it is. I don't think I've seen a manager at Chelsea last his full contract. I do not remember the last time I saw something like that at Chelsea. In fact, I haven't seen it with my eyes since I started watching football. So to be fair to me, I'm a young man. So I haven't been watching football for up to 20 years. But the point I'm trying to make is I haven't really seen this happen before. So Chelsea will not be very patient. They have said they're giving him a contract till 2032, but how sure are we that they're going to give him that much time? They will not give him that much time. The question is, how much time are they going to give him? And in that time, how successful can he be? Can he implement his structure? Can he implement his style? Can he actually do the things he wants to do? And the thing is, to that question, it's not necessarily a confident yes, because the reason they've appointed him as head coach and the reason they sacked Enzo Maresca was simply because they want somebody who's going to listen to them and who's going to follow their style. The Blue Coat Company, they've said it, they've implied it already. The moment you go against their will, they'll let you go. For a coach like Enzo Maresca, who literally won the Club World Cup and the Conference League in his first season, to let him go like that, you know that they're a no-nonsense team. So I don't think that's the right way to handle football teams in general. That's just my opinion. But ultimately, you know the job that you're getting into. You know the kind of people that you're working for. So it is not crazy if they have high expectations of you and you have to make sure you fulfill. This is also a team that spent over £1 billion in the past few years. And for somebody like Liam Rosenior now, he has a completely different set of players, a completely different sort of ego in his team now, because I'm not trying to say like the players will not give him time, but you're managing a Reece James, a former Champions League winner. You're managing an Enzo Maresca, Enzo Fernandez, not Maresca, who is a World Cup winner. You're managing a Cole Palmer, who is a fantastic player on his day and literally is one of the best players in the league. So you're managing players with high egos as well and star players at this point, and you need to make sure that you're handling them the right way. Yes, you're not the manager per se, but you're the head coach and you still have some responsibility. So the question now is, will they give him enough to make his own decisions? Because now that he's not the manager, he can't fully make all his decisions or everything he wants the way he wants to. And is that going to impact the results on the team? We shall find out. I know a lot of Chelsea fans are not really comfortable with this decision, and I would understand the skepticism as well. But we shall see. Time will tell. But that's it for this video. If you did enjoy, please like, please share, please leave a comment. I'd really appreciate it. Tell me what you think about this appointment. Tell me what you think about my style of talking as well. I would really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.